Loki, the master of deception, is a being of immense intellect and cunning. His mind, a labyrinth of intricate designs, often leads him astray, ensnaring him in the very webs he spins. Despite his brilliance, his overconfidence serves as a cloak that blinds him to his own weaknesses. One of Loki's key flaws lies in his penchant for underestimating his adversaries. His arrogance often blinds him to the true strength of those who oppose him, leading him into battles ill-prepared and vulnerable. This tendency to underestimate others ultimately undermines his own capabilities. Throughout his appearances, Loki's penchant for mischief is clear. While his pranks may amuse him, they often have far-reaching consequences, creating new enemies and complicating his own plans. In one instance, Loki's overconfidence in his plan to conquer Earth leads to his downfall. He underestimates the resolve and power of the Avengers, believing himself to be superior. This arrogance blinds him to the true strength of his adversaries, ultimately leading to his defeat. Now, I know his downfall lies in his overconfidence. My plan is simple yet effective: feed his ego with false information, luring him into a trap of his own making. First, I'll gather intelligence on Loki's latest scheme, meticulously analyzing his patterns and tendencies. Once I have a clear picture of his plan, I'll strategically leak misinformation through channels he's likely to intercept. This misinformation will stroke his ego, making him believe he has the upper hand. Next, I'll set the stage for our confrontation, carefully positioning myself and my allies where Loki expects us the least. As he walks into our trap, confident in his superiority, he'll be met with a calculated strike that exposes his vulnerabilities. But I won't stop there. Knowing Loki's penchant for survival, I'll have backup plans in place to adapt to any unforeseen circumstances. Whether he tries to escape or turns the tables, I'll be ready to counter his every move until he's finally brought to justice. Loki may be a god, but even gods can fall when their arrogance blinds them to the truth. Self-sabotage is a constant companion to Loki in his schemes. With each twist of his plans, he inadvertently tightens the noose around his own neck, paving the path to his own downfall. His impulsive nature further exacerbates this weakness, often leading to the unraveling of his carefully laid plans. Self-sabotage is evident in several instances when Loki's intricate schemes inadvertently cause chaos and destruction. Despite his brilliance, his impulsiveness and desire for chaos often lead to unintended consequences, undermining his own goals. Loki's chosen weapon, Mischief, is a double-edged sword. While it may elicit laughter and chaos, it also breeds resentment and creates new enemies. His impulsiveness in sowing chaos can lead to unintended consequences, further complicating his schemes. Emotional manipulation is a recurring theme in Loki's relationships, particularly with Thor and his family. Those closest to him can exploit his emotions, using them to thwart his plans and manipulate his actions. First, I'll study deep into Loki's past, studying his interactions with those closest to him, particularly his brother Thor. I'll identify the emotional triggers that can be used to manipulate him and turn his allies against him. Once I have a firm grasp of Loki's emotional vulnerabilities, I'll set my plan in motion. Using carefully crafted messages and orchestrated events, I'll plant seeds of doubt and betrayal among his allies, driving a wedge between them and weakening his support network. As Loki's allies turn against him, he'll find himself isolated and vulnerable, ripe for the taking. With each emotional blow, his confidence will wane, and his grip on power will falter. But I won't underestimate his resilience. Should he attempt to manipulate emotions in return, I'll be prepared to counter his moves with unwavering resolve and strategic precision. Emotions are a weapon as powerful as any physical force. And I intend to wield them with precision to bring Loki to his knees. Despite his frost giant heritage, Loki is not invincible. He is vulnerable to physical attacks from beings of greater strength. Additionally, His susceptibility to emotional manipulation makes him susceptible to those who can exploit his feelings to thwart his plans. Physical vulnerability becomes apparent when Loki is overpowered by stronger beings like Thor or the Hulk. Despite his cunning and magical abilities, he is not invincible in combat, highlighting a chink in his armor. Loki's magic is both his greatest asset and greatest liability. While he wields great power, there are limits to what he can do, and certain spells or artifacts can counteract his abilities, leaving him vulnerable and exposed. While he wields formidable magical abilities, there are limits to what he can do, and certain spells or artifacts can counteract his powers, leaving him vulnerable to defeat. I'll assess the situation, determining the best approach to confront Loki head-on. Should direct confrontation be necessary, I'll call upon my most powerful allies, including Superman and Wonder Woman, to stand by my side. Together, we'll engage Loki in battle, overwhelming him with our combined strength and skill. While he may wield magic and deception, he'll find himself outmatched by our sheer force and determination. But I won't rely solely on brute strength. Knowing Loki's penchant for trickery, I'll anticipate his every move and adapt my strategy accordingly, calling on to Zatanna to safeguard us from magic. Whether he tries to outmaneuver us or turn our own strengths against us, I'll be ready to counter his every move with calculated precision. Loki's arrogance and overconfidence may be his undoing, and when the time comes, he may find himself facing justice at the hands of those he has wronged, including the Dark Knight. In the vast expanse of the multiverse, where chaos and order perpetually clash, there exists a being who dances on the edge of heroism and villainy. His name is Loki, the god of mischief. Once known for his treacherous schemes, he has, at times, risen above the shackles of his own infamy. There was the War of the Realms, a conflict so dire it threatened the very fabric of existence. Loki emerged not as a deceiver, but as a savior, bursting forth from the belly of a beast to turn the tide of battle. His actions, though tinged with self-preservation, were undeniably heroic. And then there's the Time Variance Authority, the TVA. A place beyond time where Loki found something unexpected, a cause worth fighting for. He allied himself with this organization, not for glory, not for conquest, but to protect the sanctity of the timelines. In doing so, he sacrificed more than just his body. He sacrificed the very essence of what it meant to be Loki. It's a curious thing, the choice of free will. To stand at a crossroads between destruction and salvation and choose the latter, not because it is easy, but because it is right. That is the mark of a true hero. And while the tales of Loki's mischief are many, so too are the moments where he chose to be more than just the god of mischief. So here I stand, the Dark Knight, recognizing that even within the most unlikely of us, there lies the potential for redemption and heroism. For in the end, it is our choices that define us, not our abilities or our misdeeds. And with that, I must answer the call, as Loki did, in the hope that my actions might inspire others as his have inspired me.
I know what kind of god I need to be. For you. For all of us.